Let me talk to you right now, like we're face to face, like it's just you and me, because I need you to hear this. There's a lion inside of you. Yeah, you heard me right. Not a follower. Not someone waiting to be told what to do. Not someone begging for approval. A lion, strong, focused, powerful, relentless. But here's the truth. Most people live their entire lives never waking that lion up. They play small. They stay quiet. They do what they're told. They fit in. They wait their turn. And that fire inside them, it burns out slowly, silently, until there's nothing left but regret. Not because they didn't have the potential. Not because they weren't good enough. But because they let life cage them. They let fear tame them. They let the opinions of average people silence their roar. But not you. Not today. Because today we wake the lion. I don't care how tired you are. I don't care how many times you failed. I don't care who gave up on you. I don't care what life threw at you. If you're still breathing, that means a fight's still in you. You just forgot how dangerous you are. You forgot you were built for more than just surviving. You forgot that deep down you were made to lead, to protect, to hunt, to conquer. See, the lion doesn't ask for permission to be a lion. It doesn't try to explain itself. It doesn't play by the jungle's rules. It is the rule. It wakes up, stretches, and walks the wild like it owns every inch of it. Because it does. That's who you are, not who you're trying to become. You already have that inside you. But here's the problem. You've been listening to sheep, to people who tell you to calm down, to be realistic, to think smaller, to just get by, to not make noise, to not take risks, to not want too much. And you started believing them, started shrinking, started doubting yourself, started tiptoeing through life like you weren't born to stomp. Let me tell you something right now. Your dreams, they don't need your doubts. Your future, it doesn't have time for your fears. Your purpose, it's bigger than your excuses. It's time to snap out of it. You weren't put here just to exist. You were put here to dominate your space, to leave your mark, to build something that outlives you, to walk into rooms and shift energy, not because you're loud, but because your presence speaks before you do. That's lion energy. That's lion mentality. And it's not about being aggressive or arrogant. It's about being grounded, focused, unshakable. It's about knowing who you are and refusing to let the world shrink that down. You don't need a spotlight to shine. You don't need followers to be a leader. You don't need validation to know your value. You just need to remember who you are when no one's watching. The lion doesn't need to be seen to be feared. It doesn't need to bark to be heard. It moves in silence until it's time to strike. That's the energy I want you to move with. Not desperate, not chasing, just locked in. Every step you take, every move you make, with confidence, with conviction, with that fire in your chest that says, I was made for this. So, I don't care where you're starting from. I don't care how messy your past is. I don't care how far behind you feel. You can start again. Right now, right here. This is your reset button. This is your reminder. This is your wake-up call. The jungle is waiting. Your moment is calling. Your future is watching. And it doesn't belong to the comfortable. It belongs to the hungry, to the focused, to the lions. So wake up. Wake up your mindset. Wake up your energy. Wake up your courage. Wake up your dreams. Wake up your purpose. Because the world needs what's inside you. It needs your roar. It needs your leadership. It needs that version of you that doesn't back down, no matter what comes. No more playing small. No more staying quiet. No more waiting to be picked. You pick yourself. You back yourself. You lead yourself. Because that's what lions do. And now, so do you? Let's go wake the jungle up. The lion is back. Lions don't fear the storm, they become it. You ever notice how most people panic the moment life gets hard? One little storm rolls in, some pressure, some failure, a little rejection, and suddenly they fold. They start running. They freeze. They question everything. They back away from their goals and go hide where it feels safe. But you know what a lion does when a storm hits? It doesn't run. It doesn't hide. It doesn't complain. It walks right into it. Calm, focused, unfazed, like it owns the sky, the wind, the thunder, all of it. Because lions aren't afraid of the storm. They become the storm. And you got that same power inside of you. But you've been taught to fear discomfort. You've been taught that storms are bad, that struggle means stop, that pain means something's wrong. Nah, that's the trap. That's how average people live. But lions, they thrive in chaos. They grow in pressure. They feed off adversity. When life hits hard, they don't say, "Why me?" They say, "Try me." That's the difference. It's not about being fearless. Nobody's fearless. It's about being brave enough to walk through the fire anyway, knowing that pressure is what turns you into something unshakable. See, storms reveal the truth. They show you who's committed and who's just interested. They expose the ones who only want success when it's easy. And they separate the hunters from the hunted. You want to rise? You've got to learn to face the storm head on. You got to stop praying for easy days and start preparing for the hard ones. Because it's not the sunshine that makes you strong. It's the grind. It's the pain you thought would break you, but you kept going. It's the moments you wanted to quit, but chose to show up anyway. That's the storm shaping you. That's your strength being born. Lions don't look for shortcuts. They don't look for the easy way out. They don't cry when it rains. They don't wait for someone to rescue them. They stand tall. They keep moving. They dominate. And that mindset, that's what separates the average from the unstoppable. Let's make this real for a second. You're going to have storms in your life. You might be in one right now. Storms of doubt, storms of failure, storms of loss, storms of heartbreak, rejection, betrayal, setbacks. And they're going to test everything in you, your patience, your belief, your discipline, your hunger. You're going to be tempted to run, to hide, to quit, to go back to comfort. But I'm telling you right now, that storm is your moment. That storm is your proving ground. Because when the dust settles, it's not the loudest that remain. It's the strongest. The ones who stood firm. The ones who kept walking when it hurt. The ones who said, "I don't care what's against me. I'm not built to break." That's the lion mentality. Lions don't flinch when thunder hits. They don't shake when the winds roar. Because they are the thunder. They are the roar. You've got to train your mind to be stronger than your emotions, to look the storm in the face and say, "You don't scare me. I've been through worse." You're not weak. You're not fragile. You're not a victim. You are powerful. You are focused. You are relentless. But you've got to make that decision every single day, to rise, to walk forward, to carry the weight even when it's heavy. Every time you do that, the storm stops being something you fear. It becomes something you use. Use it to sharpen your mind. Use it to stretch your faith. Use it to upgrade your standards. Use it to prove to yourself just how powerful you really are. Because once you stop fearing the storm, you start becoming the one who creates the shift. And that's what lions do. They change the atmosphere when they walk in. They shift the energy. They move different. They own their space, not by chance, not by luck, but because they were built in storms, because they walked through hell and came out on fire. So the next time life tries to shake you, stand up taller, dig in deeper, smile even when it hurts, because you know something most people forgot. You were never meant to run from the storm. You were meant to lead it. You were meant to walk through fire with your head high, your chest out, your heart full of purpose. Because lions don't just survive the storm. They become it. Lions walk alone when they have to. Let me tell you something real. Not everyone's meant to walk with you. I know that it's deep, especially if you're someone who's loyal, who shows up for others, who wants people around you to win. But the truth is, the path to greatness gets lonely sometimes. It's not because you're doing something wrong. It's because you're doing something different. And different scares people. See, lions don't travel in packs like sheep. They don't follow crowds. They don't need noise to feel powerful. They walk alone when they have to, and they walk with power. Because the lion knows not everyone will get the vision. Not everyone will understand the mission. Not everyone has the strength, the discipline, the mindset, the hunger to go where you're going. Some people will talk you down, not because they hate you, but because they're scared. Scared of your ambition, scared of your drive, scared of how your growth exposes their comfort. You start waking up early, they'll say you're obsessed. You start chasing your dreams, they'll say you're unrealistic. You cut off distractions, now you're acting different. Damn right you're acting different, because you're building something real. And that journey, it's not meant for crowd. There will be days when you feel like no one gets it. You'll question if it's worth it. You'll crave someone to tell you, keep going, I believe in you. But some days, that voice, it has to come from you. Because lions don't need cheerleaders to move. They don't wait for applause. They don't sit around hoping someone gets it. They just keep going. Look, I know it hurts when people fall off. Friends you thought would be with you forever, gone. Family that doesn't support you like you expected, silent. People who said, I got you, nowhere to be found. But what if that's not a loss? What if it's God clearing the path? What if it's life saying, let me remove who's not meant to go with you? What if walking alone for a season is what builds the strength you'll need when you arrive? See, everybody wants a success story, the victory, the shine, but few want the isolation, the work, the quiet hustle that comes before the spotlight. Let me be clear, it's okay to outgrow people. It's okay to say, this energy doesn't serve me anymore. It's okay to love someone and still leave that circle because it's keeping you stuck. Your future deserves that level of honesty because the truth is, people will either inspire you or drain you. They'll either pull you forward or pull you back. There's no neutral when it comes to energy, so protect yours. Stop waiting for the group chat to support your grind. Stop explaining your vision to people who've never left their comfort zone. Stop watering yourself down to be digestible for those who are committed to average. You were never meant to blend in. You were never meant to move like the rest. You were built to lead, built to stand up, stand out, and sometimes stand alone. And that takes courage. That takes being okay with silence. That takes saying no to things that once felt familiar. That takes walking past old habits, old circles, old ways of thinking, even when it hurts. But guess what? Lions don't walk alone forever. They walk alone until they find the right pride. People who move with the same discipline. People who dream on the same level. People who aren't threatened by your strength, but fueled by it. So if you're in a season where you feel like no one gets you, that's okay. Keep building anyway. If the support is low and the distractions are loud, stay locked in. If your phone gets quiet but your soul gets louder, that's the shift. That's the upgrade. That's the moment most people turn back. But you won't, because you're a lion. You don't chase crowds. You chase purpose. You don't need permission. You walk with power. And when the time is right, the right people, the real ones, the ones who match your grind, they'll find you. But until then, don't be afraid to walk alone. Because alone doesn't mean lonely. It means focused. It means disciplined. It means chosen. And you've been chosen to lead. Not just to survive life, but to shape it. So walk, with your head high, with your heart locked in, with that quiet confidence that says, even if it's just me, I'm still coming for everything I said I would. Because lions don't need company to walk in power. They walk alone when they have to, and they walk like they own the ground they step on. Section 3. Lions don't chase approval. They chase purpose. Let's talk about one of the biggest traps out there, chasing approval. Trying to please everyone. Try and get the likes, the claps, that you're doing great. Try to make your moves based on how people feel about it. You ever been there? You got this fire inside you, this vision, this hunger to do something big. But right before you act on it, you start looking around. What will they think? Will they support me? Do I need their validation first? Let me say this loud and clear. Lions don't live for applause. They don't chase approval. They chase purpose. Because here's the truth. When you're walking in your purpose, not everybody will clap for you. Not everyone will understand you. Not everyone will cheer you on. And that's okay. You were never made to live for people. You were made to live for something bigger. See, approval is addictive. It's a drug. It feels good in the moment, but it fades fast. You post something bold and people like it. Feels good. Someone says, "Wow, you're inspiring." That hits. You get support early on. That's nice. But what happens when that stops? What happens when the likes don't come? What happens when the same people who praise you start ignoring you? What happens when you choose a path that doesn't make sense to them? Most people fold. They slow down. They start questioning themselves. But not lions. Lions are driven by something way deeper than attention. They're driven by purpose, by calling, by the mission that burns in their gut. They don't care who sees them. They care that the work gets done. They don't post to impress. They move to impact. That's a whole different energy. And you feel it when you're around someone like that. Someone who's so locked in on what they're meant to do, they don't have time to look left or right for approval. They know who they are. They know why they're here. And they're not asking for permission to be powerful. You ever wonder why so many people stay stuck? It's not because they're not talented. It's not because they're not capable. It's because they're too afraid to be judged, too scared to step away from the crowd, too worried about what their friends, their family, their followers might think. So they shrink, they dim their light, they talk small, think small, move small just to stay liked. But lions weren't built to be liked. They were built to be respected. And respect comes from walking in truth. Even when it's unpopular, you've got to get comfortable being misunderstood. You've got to accept that not everyone's going to see your vision. You've got to stop asking people for directions to places they've never been. Because the deeper you walk in your purpose, the more silent the room gets. And that's okay. The approval you're looking for, you already have it from the voice inside that says, "This is what I was born to do." That voice, that's your roar. So let out. Say what needs to be said. Do what needs to be done. Build what needs to be built. Even if nobody claps. Even if nobody watches. Even if you're the only one who believes right now. Because purpose doesn't need a crowd. It needs commitment. Purpose says, "I don't care if you like it. I'm doing it anyway. I don't care if you understand it. I was made for this. I don't care if you support me now. You'll see later. You weren't born to chase trends. You weren't created to please people. You weren't made to live your life trying to fit into boxes. You were always meant to break. You were made to create, to build, to rise, to roar. And you don't need anyone's permission to do that. When you start walking like that, like you got nothing to prove and everything to live for, the game changes. You stop hesitating. You stop playing small. You stop explaining yourself to people who can't see past their own fears. Because you realize your purpose is not a debate. It's your responsibility. So let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them walk away. Let them laugh now. Just make sure you're still walking in purpose when the noise fades. And it will fade. Because the ones who chase approval, they burn out. But the ones who chase purpose, they build legacies. So ask yourself right now, are you moving for the claps? Or are you moving for the mission? Because lions don't follow the crowd. They lead it. They don't wait to be praised. They become undeniable. And they don't live to be seen. They live to make an impact. Let the world watch you walk in purpose so powerfully, so confidently, that they have no choice but to respect it, even if they don't understand it. Because at the end of the day, the lion doesn't ask the jungle for permission to roar. It just roars. Lions move with intention, not emotion. Let's talk real for a second. We live in a world where people react to everything. They hear something they don't like. Boom, they explode. They face a little pressure. Boom, they quit. Someone says something disrespectful. Boom, they lose control. One bad moment, one bad comment, one bad vibe, and they throw the whole day away. But lions don't move like that. Lions don't react based on how they feel in the moment. They don't let emotions control the mission. They move with intention, with purpose, with clarity. See, emotion is loud. It flares up fast. It'll have you doing things you regret, saying things you can't take back, quitting things you were born to finish. But intention is solid. Intention says, I feel angry, but I'm not going to destroy what I built. I feel discouraged, but I'm not giving up. I feel tired, but I'm still going to show up. That's how lions move. Lions don't let feelings steer the wheel. They let focus drive the journey. Because when you're on a mission, when you've got something real to chase, you learn to put emotions in the passenger seat. It's not that lions don't feel. They do. They feel pain. They feel fear. They feel frustration. But the difference is, they don't let those feelings make decisions. Because here's the truth. Your emotions are temporary. But your vision, your purpose, that's long-term. And if you keep letting short-term emotions ruin long-term progress, you'll stay stuck. You'll start goal fired up, but quit when the feelings fade. You will believe in yourself one day and doubt everything the next. You'll let one rough week undo months of work. But lions don't fold when they feel off. They rest, not retreat. They reset, not quit. They respond, not react. Let me give it to you this way. The lion doesn't chase every noise in the jungle. It doesn't roar back at every creature that screams. It doesn't waste energy on distractions. It moves when it's time to move. It strikes when it's time to strike. Because it's not emotional. It's intentional. It doesn't let fear rush it. It doesn't let hunger blind it. It doesn't let chaos shake it. That's the energy you've got to carry. You have to get to a place where peace leads your power. Where you don't jump just because something triggered you. Where you don't break your own rhythm just to prove a point. Where you're not driven by moods, but by mission. You know how dangerous you become when you stay calm in the middle of chaos? Unstoppable. Because most people panic. Most people overreact. Most people make emotional moves and regret them later. But when you stay locked in, when you protect your peace, when you respond with thought, not just feeling, you stop letting life control you. And you start controlling your life. Look, I get it. Sometimes the weight gets heavy. Sometimes the pressure feels like it's too much. Sometimes the emotions come in waves. You want to scream, cry, walk away, throw it all out the window. But that's the test. That's the moment most people crumble. That's the moment where champions are born. Because strength isn't just about muscles or toughness. Real strength is emotional discipline. It's showing up with excellence even when you're exhausted. It's speaking with clarity even when you're angry. It's staying focused even when you're frustrated. Lions understand that the mission is too important to be distracted by every feeling. So stop letting a bad moment ruin your momentum. Stop letting a setback write your whole story. Stop letting how you feel right now decide who you become later. You could be emotional, but don't be driven by emotion. Let emotion be your signal, not your steering wheel. Feel it, process it, but then ask yourself, what's the move that serves my purpose? That's how lions think. They don't just react, they calculate. They don't just move, they align. They don't just roar, they reign. So if you're in a season where things feel overwhelming, if your emotions are trying to pull you off track, if life is testing every ounce of your patience, breathe, center yourself, lock in, and remember this. The jungle doesn't care about how you feel. It respects how you move. So move like a lion, not led by impulse, but by intention, not ruled by emotion, but by vision. Your future doesn't need you to be perfect. It needs you to be grounded, strong, clear, focused. Let others react to everything. You respond. You decide. You lead. Because lions don't move to be seen. They move to conquer. And when your moves are rooted in purpose, not feelings, there's nothing in the jungle that can stop you. Lions lead. They don't follow. Lions don't wait for orders. They create paths. They make decisions. They take responsibility. They protect their circle. They elevate their people. If you want to be a lion, you got to start leading yourself. You got to stop waiting to be saved, to be discovered, to be lucky. Lead your life. Lead your energy. Lead your mornings. Lead your habits. Because real power starts when you stop waiting and start choosing. Choosing to lead. Choosing to fight. Choosing to rise. You've always been a lion. Look, the truth is, you've always had this in you. It's not new. It's not foreign. It's been waiting. right there inside you, waiting for you to stop playing small, waiting for you to remember who the hell you are. You are not average. You are not soft. You are not here to live quiet and die forgotten. You are a lion, born to lead, built to conquer, wired for greatness. So today, wake up, lock in, and let the jungle know you're done hiding. Now go hunt.